Most people follow the same patterns, play the same social games, and live by rules they never questioned. But Sigma males, they move differently. They see things others don't, act in ways most wouldn't, and their mindset often confuses, frustrates, or even intimidates people around them. Psychologists describe Sigma males as highly independent thinkers who don't fit into traditional social hierarchies. Unlike alphas, who thrive on dominance, or betas, who seek approval, Sigma males operate outside the system entirely. They aren't driven by social validation, authority, or status. They move on their own terms. This makes them unpredictable and, at times, difficult to understand. But here's the catch. This isn't about superiority. Sigma males don't see themselves as above others. They just refuse to play by the unspoken rules that most people accept without question. And because of that, they naturally do things that most wouldn't even consider. Some call it a strength, while others see it as a problem. But one thing's for sure, these 7 traits explain why Sigma males never quite fit in, and why they never needed to. Number 1. They see through fakeness in seconds. Do you know that feeling when something about a person just doesn't add up? Maybe their smile didn't match their eyes, or their words felt too polished, too rehearsed. Most people ignore that feeling, convincing themselves it's nothing. While it may be subtle, it's not invisible to Sigma males. According to psychologists, people with high cognitive empathy can detect deception faster than others. Sigma males fall into this category. They're naturally observant and process social cues at a deeper level. Body language, tone shifts, microexpressions, all the little things people think go unnoticed. This is why they instantly recognize when someone is being fake. Whether it's forced politeness, exaggerated confidence, or hidden agendas, these men sense it before the other person even realizes they're slipping up. And once they see it, they can't unsee it. Have you ever noticed how some people talk differently depending on who's around? How they flatter the right people but look down on others? Sigma males catch this immediately, and unlike most, they don't play along. They won't call it out directly, but they will distance themselves before they get pulled into the act. This makes them hard to manipulate. You can't trick someone who doesn't buy into false appearances. And while this frustrates those who rely on deception, it also protects Sigma males from the fake friendships, empty flattery, and hidden motives that most people fall for. Number 2. They walk away when respect isn't mutual. Respect isn't something Sigma males beg for, demand, or chase. It's something they give and expect in return. But the moment it becomes one-sided, they don't argue, they don't plead, and they don't stick around trying to prove their worth. They just leave. Most people struggle with this. They stay in situations where they're undervalued, jobs where their efforts go unnoticed, friendships that feel draining, or relationships where they're constantly proving themselves. Why? Because walking away feels uncomfortable. Society teaches people to endure, to compromise, to be the bigger person. While that's sometimes necessary, Sigma males know when to draw the line. Psychologists call this low social dependency, a trait found in highly independent personalities. Unlike those who stick around out of fear of loneliness or social pressure, Sigma males have no problem cutting ties the moment they feel disrespected. And they won't make a scene about it. They won't fight for attention or beg to be valued. They'll simply remove themselves and move on. This confuses people who are used to getting away with inconsiderate behavior. They expect pushback, an argument, an attempt to fix things. But these men give them none of that. No words, no second chances, just distance. People think it's about ego or holding grudges, but it's all about self-respect. A Sigma knows that once respect is broken, the relationship, whether it's a friendship, business partnership, or even family bond, will never be the same again. So instead of wasting energy trying to fix what's already cracked, they do what most people struggle to do. They let go and walk away. Number 3. They reject rules that exist for no reason. Have you ever heard of the 5 monkeys experiment? Scientists put 5 monkeys in a room with a ladder leading to a bunch of bananas. Every time a monkey tried to climb the ladder, all of them got sprayed with cold water. Eventually, they stopped trying. But here's the twist. When the scientists removed the water punishment and introduced new monkeys, the old ones still stopped them from climbing. No one knew why. They just followed the rule. This is exactly how society works. People obey rules simply because they've always been there. But Sigma males don't fall for that trap. This is known as heuristic obedience in psychology, when people blindly follow rules without questioning their purpose. Sigma males, however, have a high level of independent thinking and a low need for external validation. They don't just accept things at face value. If a rule doesn't serve a logical purpose, they challenge it. Have you ever been in a workplace where useless procedures slowed everything down? Or in a group where people acted fake just to keep the peace? Sigma males see through these things instantly. While others obey to avoid conflict, these men refuse to waste time on nonsense. This makes them frustrating to those who expect blind obedience, but to the few who think like them, it's refreshing. Because in a world where most people follow without question, Sigma males do something rare. They think for themselves, and that's something most people can't handle. Number 4. They move in silence while others seek attention. Have you ever noticed how some people are always trying to be the center of attention? They talk louder, laugh harder, and make sure everyone knows what they're doing. While that works for some, Sigma males do the opposite. They don't need to be the loudest or the flashiest. In fact, they prefer it when others don't notice them as much. Sigma males move in silence. They don't need the spotlight to get things done. Instead of bragging or showing off, they quietly work behind the scenes, letting their actions speak for themselves. This is because they value substance over show. They understand that real progress doesn't need constant praise or recognition. They're more focused on achieving their goals and staying true to themselves than on seeking validation from others. Most people crave attention because they want others to acknowledge their worth. But these men don't rely on external approval. The best kind of recognition is the one that comes naturally, when their work and actions stand on their own merit. This is also why they often feel out of place in groups that thrive on constant attention and drama. They don't need the noise. They know that the best way to stand out is to let their results and quiet confidence do the talking, rather than drawing attention to themselves. The true power lies in moving silently, letting success speak louder than words. Number 5. They actually prefer being underestimated. Do you know how frustrating it is when everyone expects you to deliver before you've even had a chance to show what you can do? It's like being weighed down by the constant pressure to live up to other people's high expectations, whether you want to or not. For Sigma males, it's the opposite. They don't mind being undervalued or overlooked at first. In fact, they prefer it. When people underestimate them, they're not caught in a game of proving themselves to anyone. They're free to think, plan, and act without anyone getting in the way. This mindset works because when you're not constantly being watched, you can quietly observe, gather your thoughts, and make decisions based on what's right, not based on what's expected. It's a strategic advantage that most people miss. When someone is underestimated, they're able to move more freely, without the burden of unnecessary judgment. And instead of jumping to conclusions, they often get the chance to show their true value at a time when no one is looking. This is how these men operate, keeping things simple, without all the noise. They avoid the stress of overperformance and use underestimation as fuel, letting their actions naturally rise above the assumptions others make. And when it's time to show up, they do it on their own terms, without needing to prove anything. Number 6. They're not afraid to stand alone. Most people fear being alone. It's wired into human nature. People seek connection, approval, and a sense of belonging. But what happens when that need for belonging forces you into places you don't fit? That's where Sigma males draw the line. They don't see solitude as something to be afraid of. It's something to be respected. While others might settle for shallow friendships or force themselves into groups just to avoid feeling alone, Sigma males choose solitude over the wrong company. This is called self-sufficiency bias, the ability to be comfortable without constant social reinforcement. Instead of relying on external validation, they operate from a place of inner security. They don't need to be surrounded by people all the time to feel valuable. This doesn't mean they dislike others. It just means they don't force relationships out of fear. If the connection isn't real, they'd rather be alone. This mindset confuses people who measure their worth by how many friends they have or how socially active they are. To them, standing alone seems lonely. But for Sigma males, solitude is a choice, not a punishment. It gives them the space to think, to grow, and to live without the weight of expectations. And when they do let people in, it's not out of need. It's because they truly want to. Number 7. They don't waste time on fake niceties. We've all been there. Those awkward conversations where you nod along, saying things you don't really mean, just to keep things moving. How's the weather? Good to see you. You know the kind. While these empty niceties may seem necessary for polite conversation, not every moment needs to be filled with words. Sigma males rarely use fillers. Most of their interactions are real and to the point. They're not avoiding people or coming off as cold. They simply don't see the value in small talk unless there's something meaningful behind it. If they're asking how you're doing, they actually want to know. If they're sharing something, it's because it matters. Experts say that people often rely on niceties to fill the gaps in conversation, to break the silence and avoid uncomfortable moments. But Sigma males don't feel the need to fill every gap. They're comfortable with silence and authenticity, knowing that real connections come from saying what matters, not from repeating polite phrases. People often confuse this act as being cold or antisocial, but these men simply don't spend time pretending. When they do speak, it's intentional. They prefer depth, not fluff, which makes their conversations more genuine and often more fulfilling. So while others might go through the motions, Sigma males choose to save their energy for real connections that hold value. If this video resonated with you, consider subscribing to our channel for more content on the Sigma personality and other related topics. Don't forget to hit the like button and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching. And as always, stay strong and keep evolving.